Let's run through 10 players the Chiefs could select with their first second round pick in the 2016 NFL Draft. Let's start with the inside linebackers. First guy you got to look at is Myles Jack. No one really expected him to fall out of the first round, even with a degenerative knee issue that's been widely speculated. But the thing is, there's pretty slim chance he falls at the Chiefs' sixth pick overall in the second round. He's too talented, and even if he does have to have microfracture surgery in 3 years, it's hard to imagine some team's not going to take a swing on him before the Chiefs pick, especially after John Dorsey said that he was surprised he was on the board late last night. When I asked Dorsey why they just didn't take him then, he kind of sidestepped the question, which I kind of expected. But the bottom line is that Jack's a really good player, and it'd be a surprise if he's still there at 37. Another inside linebacker to keep an eye on is Reggie Ragland, inside linebacker from Alabama. He's a throwback guy, okay? He's old school linebacker. He's 6'2", 259 pounds. He lost 12 pounds since the end of the season, which is he's going to need because you got to be able to cover in today's NFL an inside linebacker. A lot of people had him going in the first round, but I always kind of doubted that because in today's NFL, you got to be able to cover at linebacker, and that's not necessarily a strength, even though he might not be terribly deficient at it. So he could still be on the board at 37, and he'd be a nice jack linebacker next to Derek Johnson, someone taking on blocks and all that. So it'd be interesting to see if the Chiefs spring for either one of those two if they're on the board. Then the good news for the Chiefs is that they're looking for defensive line depth. There's more than enough guys here. There's 5 guys left on the board that were taken in the first round of many mock drafts out there. And that's Alabama's A'Shawn Robinson and Jerron Reed, Mississippi State's Chris Jones, Baylor's Andrew Billings, and Jonathan Bullard from Florida. Bullard's a defensive end, but he's a tailor-made 3-4 defensive end who plays with power and had pretty good tape. I liked him as a player. The 4 defensive tackles, I mean, it's amazing these 4 here. These are good players. Robinson lacks a little pass rush, but he's a really big, stout guy, and he's a tailor-made 5 technique in the Chiefs' defense. He'd be a nice fit there as a rotational piece, and he's stout enough to play all along the defensive line. Reed's another guy who is really brutishly strong. He's just really strong at the point of attack against the run. A real run stuffer. The only way he could have value in the first round, though, is if you projected him to be a pass rusher. And he's shown flashes of it. I mean, I saw him break out a swim move against Clemson that made me go, wow. But I just don't. The pass rush is a question mark, and that's why he didn't go in the first round. But he might be a good second-round pick. Chris Jones from Mississippi State. The motor wasn't always there, but Jones is 6'6", 310, and he's really athletically gifted. Some team's going to believe, yeah, we can coach him up and get the best out of him, and they might be right. I mean, the physical profile for Jones, that guy's got something. Andrew Billings, 6'1", 315. Moves better than you would think for a squatty guy. He's really powerful. He looks like a nose tackle, and he could be a potential long-term replacement for Poe, Dontari Poe, if they decide they don't want to extend him or he has more back problems. So that's 5 defensive linemen they could take and who were all projected to go in the first round in multiple mock drafts. Good news for the Chiefs, there's also 3 pretty good secondary players to keep an eye on here. Von Bell from Ohio State, safety. I guess some were saying maybe he could play corner, but he looks like a safety to me. He's got really good zone coverage, a feel for it. He tested really well for a safety. If they're looking at upgrade the depth there, he could be an option. Clemson's Mackenzie Alexander. Everybody kind of liked his braggadocio at the combine, and when you turn on the tape, he's really field fast and agile and quick. He just didn't have any ball production in college, like literally 0 interceptions in 3 years. But he's still really talented, and if you put him and Peters together, those guys are going to be fun to watch because they're going to talk trash and they're going to get after it. If you can get Mackenzie Alexander with the 6th pick in the second round, you do that. He's a good football player. Kendall Fuller from Virginia Tech missed most of the last season with an injury, but he has good bloodlines. He comes from the Fullers. His brothers have played in the NFL, multiple brothers. Vincent, I can't remember the other one, and then there's Kyle, the cornerback for the Bears. So, look, man, he's Oh, Corey Fuller. Yeah, he plays for the Lions. So, look, Fuller's an interesting player. He's athletically gifted. If they're looking to upgrade at corner, with 6th pick in the 2nd round, you could do worse than that, too. So, thanks for watching, guys. Continue to go to kansascity.com for all your Chiefs news during the NFL draft and beyond.